What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Jose here at the First Round Bite Show, where we bring you all football all the time. And today I have a super exciting episode for you guys. Today is the first fantasy football episode for the 2025 NFL football season. So super excited to bring you the first episode. Today in particular, I am going to be giving you some of my top sleepers in the league. So I will be discussing my top quarterback sleeper, 2 wide receiver sleepers, and 1 running back sleeper. And then to top it off, I did some homework so that you guys don't have to. You're welcome. I am also going to include some of my favorite guys that are ranked not as high as what I think they should. I think these guys are going to do not necessarily a lot better, but definitely better than where they're currently ranked, at least on the 2025 ESPN's PPR cheat sheet here. So if you stick around, these guys could potentially win you the league. So keep your eyes and ears open. So without further ado, let's get into this episode. So the first person I have here for you guys is going to be a quarterback that is ranked number 17 on the ESPN Fantasy Football Draft Kit PPR cheat sheet, and his name is going to be Mr. Jared Goff. So last year, Mr. Jared Goff finished with 4,629 passing yards, 37 passing touchdowns. Yes, you heard that right, 37 passing touchdowns, and he's actually ranked number 17. That's crazy, isn't it? With only 12 interceptions, which is really impressive. 12 interceptions to 37 passing touchdowns is pretty good, if you ask me. He did finish with 72% completion rate, played in all 17 games, and he averaged 22 fantasy football points last year. So obviously he played a phenomenal year last year. He does have a bunch of mouths to feed, which is a good thing for him. So of course he got Amon-Ra St. Brown, Williams, Sam Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery. So he has a lot of people to kind of give him that backup. He also has a great offensive line, so if he needs to scramble, he can scramble. He's not the greatest runner, but he's mainly known for his pinpoint accuracy. I can't believe they have him ranked so low. I think he's probably going to finish at least in your top 8 this year. So don't be afraid to pick him up, especially after like the hot people go off the board first, like Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts, like all those name brand quarterbacks. Once those guys start to fly off early, like in rounds 2, 3, 4, and I know Jared Goff is going to be there in the middle rounds. Go ahead and snag him up while you kind of get your bench stashed up with receivers and running backs. So that's going to be my first sleeper of the day. My second sleeper of the day is going to be a wide receiver. That gentleman is going to be Mr. Xavier Worthy. The reason why I have him as a sleeper is because the ESPN cheat sheet here has him ranked as a 23rd wide receiver. I think he will probably finish within the top 15 this year. Not to mention Rashee Rice is actually suspended for the first 3 games of the year, I do believe. So Mr. Xavier Worthy finished with 59 receptions last year, 638 receiving yards to 6 touchdowns, 104 rushing yards and 3 rushing touchdowns. Played all 17 games last year. Patrick Mahomes does like to spread the ball out a lot. The thing about it is Travis Kelce is declining. Last year he finished pretty poorly in my opinion. Definitely not a top tight end. So if you're looking for a tight end, unless you can get Travis Kelce maybe like in the 4th, 5th, 6th round, I wouldn't dare to get Travis Kelce in the years past. He's always been like a 1st or 2nd round flyer, but not anymore. So please don't pick him up early. Pick him up in the middle rounds if he's available, but try to avoid him at all costs. But with that being said, Xavier Worthy is going to be taking most of the looks in my opinion, with Rashee Rice sitting out. I can't think of any other receiver that they have over there that's as skilled as Xavier Worthy. Could be wrong, but I think he's going to have a great first half of the year while Rice is out, but I think he's going to be pretty consistent throughout the course of the year. So do pick up Mr. Xavier Worthy. The next fantasy football sleeper here, I have another wide receiver, and he just got traded to the Dallas Cowboys. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. George Pickens. If you watched him play last year, he is a freak of an athlete. He reminds me of a lot of DK Metcalf. He does a lot of acrobatic catches, real tough wide receiver, big body dude, not afraid to get dirty, not afraid to get hit. Last year he finished with 59 receptions, 900 receiving yards, 3 receiving touchdowns, and that's also because he was playing receiver to Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. This year he is going to have Dak Prescott, who I don't think is a big improvement from those two, but I do believe he's still a better quarterback than the both of them, especially since he's going to be playing 1B to CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb is going to be getting a lot of looks, a lot of defensive players kind of scheming up on him, so it's going to leave him wide open a lot, in my opinion. Who knows? We might see 2 1,000-yard receivers this year over at the Dallas Cowboys. Super excited to watch him play, as he always makes spectacular catches. So, in my opinion, do pick George Pickens. They actually have him ranked as a 31st wide receiver in this sheet. I do believe he's probably going to finish in the top 20, in my opinion. The next sleeper I have here, and it's going to be my last sleeper for this episode, is a running back. And if you've watched my previous videos, you know I am really high on this gentleman, and his name is Mr. Cam Skattebo, drafted by the New York Giants. The thing that kind of worries me a little bit, he was currently 3rd on the depth chart at the New York Giants. You got Tyrone Tracy, you got Devin Singletary, and then you got Cam Skattebo. But I think he's going to vault himself forward into the RB2. And then as the season progresses, I think people are going to start to see, and he's going to start to do his thing and kind of vault into the RB1 role. But keep your eyes open on Cam Skattebo. He finished his college career 2024 with 1,700 rushing yards, 21 rushing touchdowns, 605 receiving yards, and 3 receiving touchdowns. He does it all, ladies and gentlemen. He is a freaking freight train. He doesn't have the best speed, but he is such a hard person to tackle once he gets into the open field. Good luck to you, because he's kind of like a Derrick Henry 2.0. He's just a tough dude to bring down. True RB1s get off the board. Don't be afraid to pick up Cam Skattebo, especially if you have more than, I would say, 6 roster spots. I think the league that I play in, my league, I think we have 5 roster spots, so it's kind of hard to hoard some of these guys. But if you play in a league that has 6, 7, even 8 roster spots, don't be afraid to draft them in the middle rounds and kind of just stash him. He might vault Tyrone Tracy, or Tyrone Tracy might get injured, so it'd be good to have him as a handcuff. But I do think he's going to do pretty good this upcoming season. So with that being said, that is going to be my top sleepers for today's episode. I do have a handful of other individuals who I feel like might outperform their average draft position, is what they call it. The first one here is a quarterback. So I really like this quarterback, Baker Mayfield. They currently have him, which it is kind of high. They have him as the number 7 quarterback, right behind Patrick Mahomes and right ahead of Bo Nix. I think he might finish in the top 5, and I think a lot of people, even though he's so high, I think a lot of people are going to overlook Baker Mayfield. So Baker Mayfield in 2024 finished with 4,500 passing yards, 41 passing touchdowns, and 16 interceptions. That's pretty damn good. He does have a ton of receiving help over at the Bucks, so I feel like he's probably going to duplicate his last year's stats, and he has another year under his belt playing for the Bucks, so I think the camaraderie is going to be there, the chemistry is going to be there. I think he's just going to be one of the most consistent quarterbacks going into this year, unless injured, which I hope he does not. But definitely draft Baker Mayfield. I would honestly draft him ahead of Patrick Mahomes and maybe even ahead of Jalen Hurts. Let me know what you guys think, but I'm a big believer in Baker Mayfield this year. Another one I got for you guys, another pair of must-get running backs here for you guys is going to be Derrick Henry and Bucky Irving, both sitting at 9 and 10. I think Derrick Henry might be maybe my second or third favorite running back this year. I would probably put him right behind Jahmyr Gibbs and Saquon Barkley, maybe up there with Bijan Robinson. Bucky Irving finished last year on fire. He did share the backfield with Rachaad White, and he started taking RB1 reps throughout the year. I do believe that it's going to be a one-man show with Bucky Irving taking true RB1 snaps going into the year. But Derrick Henry finished with 325 carries for 1,900 rushing yards and 16 touchdowns. Second in rushing yards and tied for first for rushing touchdowns. Him and Lamar Jackson make such a great duo over at the Baltimore. So do draft Mr. Derrick Henry. I would probably put him, like I said, I would probably put Saquon, Jahmyr Gibbs, Derrick Henry, then Bijan Robinson in that order. So if you're drafting early, please do yourself a favor and freaking draft Derrick Henry. I would draft him over Bucky. Bucky Irving last year finished with 207 carries, 1,122 rushing yards to 8 rushing touchdowns, 392 receiving yards, 47 receptions, and 0 receiving touchdowns. But don't let that scare you, as Bucky Irvin had a hell of a good year last year, and I think he's only going to duplicate it this year. So those two could be league winners. If you're picking, if you're like in a 12-man league and you're picking 12, don't be afraid to draft them back to back. I was so surprised looking at the wide receiver. There is so much talent in the wide receiver group this year. It's kind of insane. I feel like the running back pool is a little bit thin this year. So go heavy on your running backs to start off, since there's not a lot of talent there. So if you're picking 10th or picking 12th, do yourself a favor and pick these guys back to back. I'm telling you. All right, moving forward, I got 3 more receivers who are consistent, or I feel like are going to be consistency. I have one gentleman here who's only had 1 year under his belt, but Mike Evans, numbered 18 in the wide receiver pool. He finished last year with 1,004 receiving yards after missing 3 or 4 games due to injury. Mike Evans is literally the definition of consistency. If you look in the dictionary, his picture is right there next to consistency. So don't be afraid to draft Mike Evans. I know he's getting a little bit older, but I do not foresee him slowing down anytime soon. Like I said earlier, Baker Mayfield does have a lot of mouths to feed, but I do know for a fact that Baker Mayfield loves him some Mike Evans. One of the greatest Bucks in Bucks history, right? Next one here is Garrett Wilson. So last year he finished with over 1,000 receiving yards playing with Aaron Rodgers. This year he gets Justin Fields, who I don't necessarily think he's better than Aaron Rodgers, but at this point in his career, I do believe he is better than Aaron Rodgers. So they also played college football at Ohio State together, so they already have that chemistry there. They know each other, so I feel like him and Justin Fields are gonna kind of light up the league this year a little bit. So don't be afraid to draft Garrett Wilson. Him and Justin Fields are gonna be something nice to watch this year. Sad to say as a Pats fan, but that's gonna be an exciting duo. The last must-get here that I have is Mr. Marvin Harrison Jr. I'm a big fan of Maserati Marv. Don't be afraid to draft Mr. Marvin Harrison Jr. Him and Kyler Murray are going to have that connection. They have that 1 year of connection underneath them, and I think they're only going to elevate their game going into this year. So don't be afraid to draft Maserati Marv, who is currently sitting at number 20, which I think he can easily put up top 15, top 10 production. But some of my favorite receivers right there. So thank you guys so much for watching. So if you enjoyed this episode, comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. If you disagree with me, let me know. If you agree with me, let me know. If you want to see a different type of installment of fantasy football episodes, let me know down in the comment section and I'll hop right on there for you guys. But this is the first of many fantasy football episodes that we will be doing here on the First Round Bye show. So if you're interested, hit that subscribe button. We do all football all the time. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.